Welcome to the Industry Astrology full moon forecast for December of 2021. The moon is waxing, the energy is increasing. How are you feeling? The moon is waxing, growing bigger and brighter. And on December 18th at 8:36 p.m. Pacific time, the moon will reach its peak brightness, reach the end of the Purnima Tithi, and then begin to wane again. Excited, feeling a little more energized or hopeful, perhaps, or maybe just feeling passionate or anxious about something. This full moon has a lot of expansive energy to it. This is the last full moon of the year, and it's also just falling a few days before the solstice on the 21st of December. The solstice is the turning point of the seasons, when in the northern hemisphere the darkest and longest night of the year happens. And at this point, the season of Uttarayana begins, the time of growing light, when the days begin to get longer and the light is returning to the earth. This is considered to be a very auspicious season of spiritual growth. So this full moon is sort of marking the very end and beginning of something new. And it's a great time to be making New Year's resolutions, I think, or making plans, envisioning the future, because of this very auspicious aspect from Jupiter. This full moon is falling in the Vedic lunar mansion, the area of the sky called Mrigashira Nakshatra. Mrigashira means head of the deer, and it's called the searching star. It's connected to sort of like hunting, searching, tracking, trailing. And the heart chakra, what we deeply desire, right? What we yearn for, what is our true fulfillment in life. In fact, this is the Shakti. Mrigashira does have the Shakti of fulfillment. It's connected to Soma, this Amrita that comes from the moon and nourishes the world. So this is a very heart-centered, emotional kind of full moon. It can feel anxious. It can feel a little yearning. And what's really interesting about this full moon is that it comes the day before a very important turning point in relationships, and also for the world, for money and artistic expression, because Venus is stationing retrograde on the 19th of December. Now that's a really important turning point. Like I was saying, it's like a stop of Venus. And Venus, the goddess of love and relationships, commitment, is going through a cycle of transmutation in the next 40 days. She's stepping backwards and she's dropping into the sun. So she's going to change from her form as evening star, as we can see her now after sunset, and she's going to reappear rising as morning star at the end of January next year. So there's a process of transformation, death and rebirth. And Venus retrogrades are really powerful times for looking at your relationship patterns that come maybe even from childhood. Sometimes it's around setting boundaries. Sometimes it's around letting people in too. So whatever your patterns are in relationship, around trust and boundaries and commitment, and guilt and shame as well. Everything that comes up around intimacy, especially, is kind of on the table. As Venus goes retrograde, she's really revisiting old issues maybe, or also just literally going back to places that you haven't been for a long time, seeing old friends, old nostalgic kind of situations. Or it could also manifest as creative expression that you haven't done for a long time, picking up an instrument you haven't played for a while. Venus is also connected to money and how we feel secure, how we feed ourselves, how we feel supported by the earth. And so this Venus retrograde may be bringing up some important realizations around that as we move into the next 40 days after the full moon. Yeah, there's something about sustainability and strength going into this next year, 2022. In general, there's a lot of interesting astrology, especially the first few months as we get in with Venus. If you'd like to know more about that, actually, I am teaching a whole 2-hour class complete with all 12 horoscopes for 12 signs on this Sunday, December 19th. And if you can't make it on Sunday, you can sign up and then you will be able to listen to the recording later. We're going to have the recording up for everybody who's registered to watch. So check it out. Okay, so let's just see what the tarot cards have to say about this upcoming full moon in Mrigashira. Okay, so the first card that comes through is, wow, the Nine of Swords. Now, this Venus retrograde, when she stations, there's an intensity around emotions, around especially maybe wounds, around attachment and expectations in relationships, or a feeling of being not included. In fact, the full moon in Mrigashira sometimes can be quite an anxious time for relationships too, because Mrigashira is, it has a lot of desire for that connectivity, for finding it, like a deer trying to find its herd. It will look for its friends and its community. And also the full moon in Mrigashira can sometimes bring up feelings of not being included or being alone. Venus retrograde does this too sometimes. So as we move into the Christmas season, some of us may be going back to see family if we're lucky at this time, and some of us may be feeling also very lonely and isolated. And so take care of yourselves, protect yourselves, especially with this deep dive of Venus. We're all a little more sensitive, especially because Venus is going to conjoin Pluto on Christmas Eve, which can bring up some very strong feelings and intensity, passion as well, and emotions. But it's in a time when, the people often feel generally more disconnected or more alone in the world. So if you know anybody who is feeling like that, reach out to them. This is a time to be connecting and reconnecting with old friends especially as well. And this is the Princess of Wands coming up. This fierce, I think this is that Venus turning around into the fire of the sun. There's something very secret about Venus. She holds a lot of fire in her. Although she's of the element of water traditionally, she has this Agni, this fire. You can see it when you see her in the sky, shining like a diamond. A diamond holds this power of creativity, life, the fire of life within her. So this Venus retrograde it wants to reconnect with that fire. Maybe it's not necessarily through community or friends or relationship. It could also be your creative expression, your freedom to be who you are. And then finally, the Knight of Cups. Yeah, reaching out, connecting, offering something to the whole. Remembering what your dreams have been in the past, and honoring that as well. Okay. Transmute your sadness, your shame or guilt, and return to the fire of who you truly are. What fulfills you, and what do you want to offer back to the world? Reset your boundaries to something more authentic and true. Just who you are belongs here, and you are welcome. You are included just for being here. Don't fear. There is really no wrong in the truth of who you are. Thank you for coming to the Anandashri Astrology Full Moon Forecast. I do offer one-on-one tarot readings and Vedic astrology readings. You can book online. I also am going to be giving a 2022 forecast class coming up around the corner here on Sunday, the 19th, so check that out. You can sign up, and there is a live question and answer and horoscopes for all 12 signs. Be sure to subscribe to my newsletter. It's free, and also subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check me out on Instagram as well and Facebook, and I will see you soon on the next new moon.